Hi guys, I'm back again today with the 5 signs you're raising kids in Germany. Okay, well, another buy me a coffee request, so let's check this out. Subscribe, click the bell button, let's get it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. In this video today, I am going to be sharing with you the 5 signs that you are raising your kids in Germany. As a New Zealander who is raising my 2 children in Germany, I have to say that becoming a mum has been the biggest culture shock that I have experienced so far in Germany. And although New Zealand and Germany share very similar core values when it comes to raising our children, we also have very different parenting styles. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this today. And I don't want to generalize too much because I know that not all German parents are going to be like this and not all New Zealand parents are going to be like this. But overall, this is what I have experienced in Germany. Okay, so with all that being said, let's get into it. One of the signs that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you are at a playground or a play group or play date and a German mother will tell your child that they do not have to share their toy with their child. And okay, I'm going to give you an example of this because this is something that happened to me the other day and this still always shocks me a little bit. My little boy Matteo, he's 2.5 and he's not very good at sharing right now. He's learning, but he's not the best. And we were at the playground, he brought along his favorite truck and a little boy came over straight away, grabbed Matteo's truck, he was crying. So my first reaction when I saw this little boy crying, like most New Zealanders, I said, Matteo, why don't you share your truck with this little boy, maybe you can play together. And then the little boy's mother, who had seen everything that went on, said to Matteo, no, you don't have to share your truck, that is your truck and you can decide whether you want to share it or not. I'm just always a little bit taken back when I see this reaction from German parents because this is not how this situation would be dealt with in New Zealand. And I've talked about this before in another video. I gave like an example with a little boy sharing his ball. It was a similar example and this just happens all the time in Germany. It's also happened, Matteo has gone over to kids and started playing with their toys and the mothers will jump in and say, no, that is my son's toy and he gets to decide if he wants to share it. Honestly, I get this. I can understand why German parents do this and it makes total sense. It's just something that I am still trying to get used to. I've noticed that many German...
It makes sense now. Now that I keep listening to it, it makes sense because it's mine and I choose what to do with it. So that is helping the child understand something that is yours, something is someone's, is someone you cannot, go and play with it or take it, right? So this will help children understand no stealing, right? It will lower the crime rate. So that is good. It's teaching kids, don't take what is not yours. Oh, I like it.
Parents are very direct and very confident in their role as a parent. They're not afraid to tell you exactly what they think. And that can be kind of intimidating when you're a new mum, especially a new mum who is not from Germany. Another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you start to get overwhelmed with the amount of shoes and protective weather gear you need to buy for your kids. My little girl Amelia is in her last year of kindergarten and this winter I think I had to buy her maybe 8 pairs of shoes. I'm not joking. And she is constantly growing. In Germany, they take kids' footwear very, very seriously, especially in winter time. So this year for winter in kindergarten, Amelia needed snow boots, gum boots, regular boots, shoes, house shoes, of course, sports shoes, and also they do sports inside when it's really cold, so she needed these kind of like gymnastics type shoes. So that was 7 pairs of shoes, and during that winter she grew out of a couple of pair of her shoes, so I think I had to buy like 9 pairs of shoes all up. It is serious business trying to keep up with the kids' shoe situation in Germany, and not only is it footwear, it is protective weather gear. Amelia needs a complete snowsuit and a complete rain suit, and she is constantly growing, so I'm just constantly having to buy her all of this gear. And in Germany, it's kind of like there's no excuse for bad weather. Kids need to have the gear to protect them from any type of weather, because in Germany it snows, it's rainy in winter, and the kids still want to go out and play. In New Zealand, it's pretty different. I know we don't have this kind of extreme weather, But I feel like New Zealand kids, they can get away with wearing one pair of shoes for every single occasion, and we just don't really care, you know, we don't take it that seriously. Also, another thing, German parents only buy really good quality shoes for their kids, which I think is a really good thing. I also buy good quality shoes for my kids, but they can be really, really expensive. So it's a good thing that in Germany they have a lot of these children's clothing markets where you can get really good quality secondhand shoes for a really reasonable price. Okay, so another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you can confidently breastfeed your baby wherever you want without getting looks of disapproval. I breastfed both of my kids in Germany, and I was able to do it anywhere and still feel comfortable. I would do it in cafes, I would do it on the street, you know, on a park bench. I would just breastfeed my kids anywhere. It didn't matter if my kids were hungry, I would feed them, and I would always do it quite discreetly. You'd never like see my boob flop out or anything. So I would, you know, I'd do it in a very discreet way, but I wouldn't care where I was. I would breastfeed, and I see a lot of German mums doing this. I remember there would be times in Germany in those early days where my baby would be like screaming with hunger, and I would just have to sit down on the side of the road, like on a bench, and feed my baby. I never once got a disapproving look or somebody that made me feel uncomfortable. I'd even get other German women kind of giving me a look of approval, you know, good on you for breastfeeding in public, that kind of thing. I remember being in New Zealand with Amelia when she was 6 months old, and I just presumed it was going to be exactly the same in New Zealand as far as breastfeeding and pro breastfeeding, but it actually wasn't. And I remember getting some really disapproving looks for breastfeeding Amelia in public. I just really appreciate the fact that Germany is so pro breastfeeding. It is the most natural way to feed your baby, and it shouldn't be something that is frowned upon, or women shouldn't have to go and hide to feed their baby.
I know, right? Like when you're eating, does somebody say, yo, you cannot eat in public. You have to go at home and eat. Like, and this is a baby. Just because my breasticles are outside, I mean, most of them are covered, right? Doesn't mean I can't. Like, what is your problem? Just you look away. If you don't like it, that's your you problem. It shouldn't be a me problem. Like, it should be free all over the world to breastfeed children, specifically children, babies, and not men or women, or not adults, but babies. Okay. That's why I specified.
Something that is frowned upon, or women shouldn't have to go and hide to feed their baby. Okay, so another sign that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you are at a playground and you see a child doing something that you would consider extremely dangerous, like almost life-threatening, and then the other German mums around are not fazed in the slightest about it. They're barely even watching. And honestly, this was one of the hardest things for me to kind of get used to. I've talked about this in other videos. I have to bring it up again because I believe that this is a huge cultural difference between parenting in New Zealand and parenting in Germany. German parents, they let their children take risks and experiment and explore, and by doing this, I have noticed that German kids have very, very good gross motor skills at a very, very young age. This definitely has a lot to do with the German parenting style.
And they become less whiny children, right? Like you see kids like every small little thing, they're just like whining about it. I'm so sorry for dissing children. I was the worst child in the history of children, so yeah, my mom tells me stories and I'm like, whoa, I don't know who she is, so that is not me, that was someone else. But yeah, I feel like it makes kids really, really like whiny, and you know, those kids are at the grocery store and they're like screaming their lungs out. You know what, that's literally me, so I'm talking about myself at this point.
At a very, very young age. This definitely has a lot to do with the German parenting style of letting their children take risks. So I'm going to give you an example. Close to where we live, there is a playground with a really, really high fence made of cobblestone, and the kids like to climb up on this fence. They can kind of put their feet through the little gaps in the cobblestone and they climb up, and they like to walk around the fence, which goes around the entire playground. This is a very high fence, and I would consider this to be very dangerous dangerous. Like if a child lost balance, they could really hurt themselves falling down. Except the kids in my neighborhood do it all the time. They walk around this fence. My little girl Amelia, she's 6, and she saw some of her friends climbing up on this fence and walking around, and she wanted to do the same, except I was the only mum that totally freaked out and said, Amelia, you can't do this. Amelia was really upset that she was the only kid that wasn't allowed to walk around this really high fence, and the other German mums were just kind of like, oh, it's fine, you know, it's not that dangerous, and you know, just she'll be fine. And so I reluctantly let Amelia climb up and walk around this fence, but in my heart I was like, okay, this is so dangerous. I don't know whether I should be letting her do this. And then I was kind of questioning myself. I was like, am I crazy letting her do this, or am I crazy for not letting her do this? Because there's a group of German mothers here who are all not in the slightest bit worried about their children doing this. I'm the only one that's panicking about this, and so I reluctantly let Amelia do it, and she was absolutely fine. She didn't fall off, and she wasn't like running along the fence. She was walking like slowly around. But still, I didn't feel comfortable about it, and I don't know whether I should have let her. It was a tough kind of situation to be in, because, you know, Amelia was going to be the odd one out, and she really wanted to do it. So I don't know where to draw the line when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay, so another...
Yeah, that seems really scary, but how do I put this? Like, you don't know what is gonna happen. We don't know what will happen, right? And then this can lead to blame game at the end. Like, oh, it's my fault because I told my child to climb the fence. It was okay to climb the fence, and now she fell, and now I hate myself, right? So it could end up like that. But luckily, thank God, nothing happened. The thing is, it's also good because then it builds your trust to your child. Then they'll be more careful. It's like, mom trusted me to climb this fence, so I have to make sure that I don't fall, or else she's never letting me go out ever again. So it kind of like really makes your child independent and responsible. That's the word, responsible, to take care of themselves as well. So it's a good thing, but also as a parent, you're like,
and that you are raising your kids in Germany is when you go to a swimming pool, like a public swimming pool or a lake, and you see mothers everywhere in all shapes and sizes strutting around in their bikinis and swimsuits. So they could be 8 months pregnant with this huge big belly chasing around after their toddler, and they don't care. They're just like, I want to have fun with my kids. I don't care that I'm 8 months pregnant. Not only will you see a lot of pregnant women in swimsuits, you'll also see a lot of women postpartum in swimsuits. So maybe they've given birth like 2 weeks ago, and they've got their tiny little baby under their arm, and they do not care that they have stretch marks and that they haven't lost their baby weight. I just think this body positivity is so awesome in Germany, because I think a lot of parents in other countries would refuse to get in a swimsuit if they didn't look perfect, if you know what I mean. Like, if they had stretch marks, or, you know, if they were carrying a bit of extra baby weight, they would hide away rather than just get in there and play with their kids and make memories and have fun with their kids. When I was pregnant with my little girl Amelia, I would never ever have gone out in public and showed my big pregnant belly off in a bikini. And I totally changed my mindset when I was pregnant with Mateo, my son. I would take Amelia to the lake, the river, the pool, and I would see all these other mums, you know, having fun with their kids, splashing around in the water, getting in there with their kids and enjoying themselves. And I was the odd one out. And then I was like, hey, I want to do that too. So I reluctantly put on my swimsuit with my huge big pregnant belly sticking out, and I got in that water and had fun with my little girl. No one looked at me weirdly, no one cared, and I was able to just get in there and make memories with my little girl without worrying about how I looked. So anyway, guys, those were the 5 signs that you are raising your kids in Germany. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it amusing. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to...
This was really nice. Everybody there's just like so open-minded. Not everyone, but most people seem open-minded, and anything that is natural, like you can't control, it's okay, right? Like, for example, you can't control the fact that you have a baby who needs breastfeeding. You can't control the fact that you're pregnant, but then you have a toddler that you want to play with. Like, those things are, you cannot control, right? It is just, it's part of your life. So people just don't care if it's like natural. So that's nice. I like that because it's human nature kind of vibes, right? So I really, really like that. We have one more video to check out. Our playgrounds better in Germany than in the US. And then we'll come back with more tomorrow because this is like a 3 order with 2 videos each. Buy me a coffee. So we're gonna have 2 videos for each day. So anyways, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.